welcome back to my channel. In today's video I have a tag video for y'all. Now I wasn't necessarily tagged in someone else's video to do so, but I saw some of my fellow YouTubers do these videos and I just thought that they were such a great idea. The name of the tag is called Another Palette Tag, which basically you just have a series of questions. In this case it's 9 questions and you just answer some questions about your palettes and things like that. So I'm really excited for today's video. I really hope that you enjoy this video. If you do, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so before I get into the video, I have some exciting news. Well, I was so excited for this. A few weeks ago on Instagram, I entered a giveaway, and it was the Smashbox and Nicole Concilio collab giveaway for the primer waters. All you had to do was enter a palm tree under one of the comments or something like that. I don't really recall the rules and what you had to do. I get a message from Smashbox saying, congratulations, you've won the giveaway. Please enter your shipping info and things like that. And I was like, seriously? Like, I was so hesitant to do so just because I've been scammed quite a few times in my life, and it just, you kind of just build up this like anxiety when things like that happen, and it's like, oh, whoa, hold up, I'm not trying to give you my info, like I don't know you. It was actually the brand itself, you know, they were certified on Instagram, so I entered my information, and then I kind of was like, hey, is there shipping info or whatever, you know, and obviously nobody got back to me. So I was like, whatever, that was probably just fake, and no, it wasn't. I have right here the giveaway, and I'm covering my shipping info. But here is the giveaway. Like, I was so excited. Oh my gosh, and I wanted to show you guys. So they sent me the 3 primer waters. This is the one that I'm currently using. This is my favorite one out of the 3. This is the So Chill Coconut. It smells just like coconuts. It's like when you use it, you're just spraying a tropical paradise over your face. I absolutely love it. And the other 2 are, this one is the Centering Citrus one. This smells just like it says, just like citrus. And this one smells really fresh. This is the Serene Green ones. So I was just so excited to receive these. Thank you so much to Smashbox. I've never won a giveaway, you know, and to win one with a great brand and just primer waters, like, you can never have too much, you know, like those, I love them. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the palette tag. There are 9 questions, and the first question is, what was your first palette? My first palette was the First Naked palette by Urban Decay, and I used it quite a bit. This was basically the only palette that I used. I got this back in 2013. I was walking in Macy's and I had a $50 gift card. I was shopping, I was just looking around, but I was in the mall shopping because I was going to a trip to Florida to see one of my very dear friends. He's no longer with us anymore, so that's why this is just such a great memory for me, because it just kind of takes me back to that time and the excitement that I was feeling to go see him, and he was just such a good friend to me. But anyway, I was walking in Macy's and I saw this palette on display, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was barely watching YouTube videos at the time. I think I just started watching, and so many people were using this palette. This was such a popular palette, so when I saw it I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, I wanted to try it out, because I was always using like single shadows or little quads or whatever, you know. And so I got it, and I felt so proud of myself, like, to own a high-end palette. It was so exciting, and I hold on to it. Every once in a while I'll pull it out and kind of use it, because I really do like the shimmers in here, but this is just such a great keepsake for me, and I'm pretty sure that I will hold on to it until forever. Alright, so the next question is, what is your most recently purchased palette? My most recently purchased one of them is the, I'm gonna hold it this way because the light is just really bright, is the Dominique Cosmetics Latte Palette. Kristen Dominique, she is a YouTuber, she has her own cosmetic line, and this was her first palette launch, and oh my gosh, this palette is so amazing! Another one of my recent purchases is the Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. This palette as well is just so gorgeous. I have always wanted this palette for such a long time, and I absolutely love it. Like, I love it. And then 2 other palettes that I recently purchased. I mainly got them because they were on sale, because when this collection launched, I was intrigued by one of these palettes, and I wanted to get them, but a part of me was just like, you know what, no, because you have things so similar in your collection, you don't need them. So I told myself, okay, if they go on sale, then I might consider it. And one of them is the Urban Decay and Kristen Leanne. This is the Daydream palette, and it just has 5 basic neutral shades and it comes with a brush, and I think this is really cute. I love the packaging. I saw her video, and this is supposed to be like frosting. Like, I think that's so amazing. And then the other one, of course, is the Urban Decay and Kristen Leanne Kaleidoscope Dream palette. The reason why I was a little hesitant on getting this one is because I do own the Electric palette from Urban Decay. That one is no longer available. And I also own the Heavy Metals palette, and there are a lot of similar shades among these 3 palettes. The one that I was most intrigued by were these 2 right here. These are Leo and Brixton, because I've seen in tutorials that they kind of like change shades and kind of can, like, they kind of work as eyeshadow toppers to kind of enhance the shade or change it up a bit or whatever, and I just think that that's amazing. I was really happy that I picked these palettes up. I have yet to use the Kaleidoscope Dream palette, so I really can't wait to use it. The Daydream palette I have used multiple times for quick. It is really a good palette to just, you know, throw in your bag or whatever, just for like quick, easy go-to looks. The next question is, what palette do you regret missing out on? One of the palettes that I do regret missing out on, and this is just because I really wasn't into makeup when this palette came out. Like, I wasn't, you know, on top of launches and releases and stuff like that. And that is the Master Palette by Mario in collaboration with Anastasia Beverly Hills. That was a limited edition palette. Every time I see someone using it, I'm just like, man, like, if only I had, you know, been on top of it. Like, if only I had been on my game back then, you know, like I am now. But no big deal. There are a lot of similar shades. It's just, I really do like Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. That was one that I missed out on. The next question is, what palette makes you happy to look at? I would have to say my Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette, which is very dirty. And that's just because there's just so many colors in here. There's just so many things that you can do with this palette. There's unlimited possibilities of looks that you can create, and I just love looking at it because I have watched Jaclyn Hill for such a long time, and when she came out with her very own palette, I knew I was gonna get it. I knew I was gonna support her, and I was definitely not let down by this palette. Everything that it was hyped up to be, it definitely is. So it definitely makes me very happy to look at. The next question is, what palette have you changed your mind about? That would have to be my Too Faced Peachy Mattes palette. I bought this a while ago. I would have to say probably last winter or last summer. When it released, I bought it. So it was probably last summer, and I really did like it. I love this. I love this scent. I love the shade range. I did use it a couple times, and I really didn't create such bold looks with it, and I really did like it. But when I went in to create a bold, you know, warm tone, like smoky eye, some of the shades were pretty hard to blend out. I remember this shade, Peach Sangria. I remember that shade being so hard to blend out, and then I was like, whatever, you know, I was kind of on a time crunch, and I didn't really have a lot of time to wipe everything away and go. So I finished up the look and I left, and when I came back to take my makeup off, I noticed that a lot of the pigment had like faded away, and I was like, what the heck is this? And I kind of, you know, did some research, and I noticed that I wasn't the only one that happened to, so I was kind of pretty let down by it. So that's why when they released the White Peach palette, I was like, oh my gosh, but I'm like, whoa, take a step back, because if it's anything like this one, then it's gonna be the same exact thing, and I didn't find that I needed it, especially, you know, I didn't want to take the risk of it being the same exact thing as the Peachy Matte. So this is definitely one that let me down, because I really do love the concept of an all matte palette, you know, especially since I've really been into matte eyes a lot lately. I mean, I don't have one on today, but I really have been into matte eyes lately, and this would be such a great palette to just pick up, especially for spring right around the corner, and summer, like fall, you know, it's such a perfect palette. The shade range, the whole concept of it is really great, but the pigment doesn't last, and that was very disappointing. The next question is, what is a palette that surprised you? And honestly, so I've heard about Juvia's Place for a long time. I noticed that they were like a lot of people talking about them and the quality of the shadows and the blendability, and oh my gosh, Juvia's Place, one of the best eyeshadows and this and that. And I just wouldn't ever purchase anything from them because I felt like their palettes were, you know, pretty basic as far as shade ranges go, that I had a lot of similar shades in my collection, and I'm just honestly tired of having, you know, 4 or 5 palettes that look exactly the same. And some of the palettes from Juvia's Place, I don't understand the names of like some of their eyeshadows, how they name them. I just don't. It's just kind of more personal reasons as to why I won't buy certain palettes. But one of the ones that I did get was the Masquerade palette, and I do have to say it's what I have on my eyes today. And I do have to say that this palette definitely did surprise me. I did get the mini one just because the large one was just too big, and I just thought that was just a little excessive. I really do love how you have your row of neutrals and then your rows of color, and you can kind of just mix it up, which is kind of what I did today. I have, you know, more of a neutral lid, and then I have a pop of color on the lower lash line. And I mean, the shadows, they blended wonderfully. You know, I had no problem with the shimmer. I had no problem with blending everything out. Everything blended seamlessly. So this is definitely one that surprised me. Not because I thought they weren't good or anything, but just because I thought that the quality of their eyeshadows were a little hyped up. So I'm definitely glad that I got my hands on this palette, and I can definitely see some fun looks coming from this palette. The next question is, what palette inspires you the most? Now, I'm someone that I'm pretty basic when it comes to eyeshadows and makeup looks and things like that. And I do have to say that the one palette that has inspired me lately is my Latte palette. And I will tell you why. You have your row of neutrals and your shimmers and your foils, and then you have your pops of color. And these 2 pops of color right here, I've been playing around on my lower lash line when I use this palette, and I just think it looks so gorgeous, and it's what inspired this look right here. And I kind of just want to do that more, you know, just have a really neutral eyelid and then bam, a pop of color on the lower lash line. I just think that that's so awesome and so unique, and I was inspired by this palette. So yeah, this is definitely a palette that has inspired me to kind of step more outside of my comfort zone. The next question is, what palette is on your wish list? And if I'm being completely honest, I don't have any palettes on my wish list. Not for nothing, not to be boasting, but I do have a ton of eyeshadow palettes, and it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming with how many I have. It's overwhelming with how companies just keep releasing and releasing and releasing and launching, and it's hard to keep up sometimes. But honestly, I have the palettes that I wanted, you know, and I can't say that there's one specifically that I want. I did have my eye on the KKW and Makeup by Mario palette when they were like sneak peeking and stuff like that. But when I saw the actual palette, I have to pass on it just because it's nothing like bam, wow in your face. And I mean, I did expect, you know, if it was kind of Kim-esque inspired, obviously by looks that he's done on her, I did expect a neutral palette, but it's not nothing. I have colors like that. Just from the palettes that I've showed you today, I have so much similar colors to that, and I just don't see the need in adding another palette like that to my collection that I don't really need, or I know I'm not going to get very much use out of, just because it's so similar to the ones that I already have. And the last and final question is, what is your no-fail palette? If you want to talk about in terms of like when I'm in a rush and I just want to put something quick together, throw something in the crease, a quick lid color, that definitely would have to be my ColourPop palette in I Think I Love You. I have used this quite a bit just for moments like that where I will take this shade, pop it in my crease, put this all over the lid, this on the brow bone, and bam, I'm good to go. And it honestly looks like I have spent so much time on my makeup look, and it just took me seconds to do it. It's a really good overall palette. You don't have too many choices to where you look at it and you're like, man, I don't know what to do, you know? There's 12 shadows in here, and I just think that this works really well on any occasion. All right, everyone, that wraps up this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I had so much fun doing this. I love videos like this where you just sit and chill and talk. Those are my absolute favorite. Those are some of my favorite ones to watch as well. And I just want to leave you with this. Life is too short. Value the time that you have. Value the moments that you share with the ones that you love. And never ever take anyone for granted. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already. God bless y'all today and always. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!